The flow on effect from COVID, so something that I've noticed in my workplace, especially post COVID, that job that I was in then, we were expected to come back to the office 5 days a week, right? Which was fine. That was what we were used to pre COVID. Then when I moved into state, the job that I went into, it was 3 days at home, 2 days in the office. And I remember my first kind of week there, my boss at the time, she said to me, okay, so tomorrow you can go home. And as a starter, I thought to myself, what am I going to do at home? I have no idea what's happening. How am I going to connect with people? Post 4 years now being in this same job, I love it. I love working from home. My partner is 5 days in the office. And sometimes when I complain about going into the office, he just can't relate to me. And he always says, oh, what do you mean? That's normal. Which is funny that to me, it's not the new normal. And I think for a lot of people, it's not. When we are looking for jobs, we look at what is the flexibility? Is there a hybrid work approach? Something that we've also lost is the Fridays. So my office doesn't go in on the Fridays. And that is when a lot of these workplaces would clock off a little bit earlier and do those work drinks or post work drinks. And for those people, post 5 p.m., post 3 p.m. on a Friday, that's when you start talking about yourself outside of work because you're done. You're about to go into your weekend. It's different to when you're sitting at work at lunchtime or even that 5 p.m. or going for a coffee during work hours because you're still in that work mood, in my opinion. So I think losing that Friday night drinks really affected us because that's when you learn who your colleagues are. You learn who their kids are and their names and that they're playing soccer and footy and how old they are. And they learn about you and your life and where you live and your family. And then the next week you come into work and you say, oh, how was, your kids' footy on the weekend? Did they win? Etc. And so I think we've completely lost that and we've lost how to have small talk or sorry, we know now how to make small talk, but we don't know how to go beyond that. So all we ask is, hey, how are you? Good, thanks. How are you? And move on. We're forgetting to ask things about like what excites you, what's happening in life, what did you do in your weekend, but go into detail. I don't want to hear that you meal plan for the fifth weekend in a row. What else is happening? So I think there's a little bit on our sense that we probably need to take ownership on for this loneliness thing and basically say, how do we own it again? Because even now we've been told that we are mandatory asked to come in on Mondays and do Monday plus 2 more days. And it's funny just seeing everyone's reaction to it. It's people are complaining, people are saying, oh my God, I don't want to come in on Monday. I'm going to take the piss a little bit until I need to because I know I'm going to have to come in. And people are treating Mondays or Fridays as this almost mini extension of your weekend. So
Mm.
it really has created a bit of this laziness from us even and created loneliness even more. And I don't know if you see that in your workplace, because I know you do a little bit of hybrid work as well.
Yeah, I do. One thing that I find myself craving is since moving into state where you don't have your friends and family, I'm craving that connection a lot more
Mm,
because it's so much harder for me to actually get it. So one thing I've identified is for those people who maybe have a core group of friends and family base in the city where I'm living, they don't feel like they have to work as hard to create that connection and keep it up. Whereas for
yeah.
me, I'm working that extra bit harder, that extra 1%, 2% to, carry on the conversation or have that conversation outside of work hours or try and dig a little bit below the surface to know that person on a deeper level.
Mm,
As you said with the meal prep example, when I'm asking someone, what did you do on the weekend or what do you like to do? I don't want that surface level answer. I actually am asking because I want you to tell me. Maybe there's something that we can connect with, or a shared experience that we can discuss together, or
yeah.
a shared hobby that we can talk about, or maybe even do. So that's
Yeah.
a period of my own personal growth that I've learned from moving into state. And admittedly, I didn't think it was going to be as hard as it has been. I'm sure you can relate to some of the experiences that we're sharing today.